Okay, so we're saying that today we'll put more into context what reflective is all about as a social worker or in our profession. How would we apply reflective practice? So, a reflective cycle, I would say it's one of the most, it's a famous model that has been used in reflective practices. Basically, it's called Gibbs reflective cycle. Why it is called a Gibbs reflective cycle? It was developed by Graham Gibbs in 1988, and it gives a structured learning from experiences. Basically, it has 6 stages. So I'll just give a like a brief background to what Gibbs reflective cycle is. Gibbs. So Graham Gibbs created the cycle in 1988, and one of the sole reasons why it was created is to support what is called, 88, yeah, to support what is called experiential learning. So learning by experience. It was designed, one, as a continuous cycle. So different people have I would say different contexts. Yes, we can know that it will have a starting point, but it becomes continuous, or it's a systematic process for improving, or what is called repeated experience. So the feelings that you may have, or the experience that you can pass through as a social worker, okay, you may not just have the experience just for today, but they may reoccur now and again. So it becomes a continuous and a repeated process. So one of the key elements of this Gibbs reflective cycle is that I acknowledged that feelings, when you're reflecting, plays a bigger role. You actually make a conclusion, or you react in a certain way, the way you have felt, right? So he acknowledged the importance of feelings in reflection. And he has also separated or put aside evaluation. After you have felt that experience, what is your reaction, or what is the evaluation? So as you're evaluating, you actually try to recall, what did you do? How did you do it? And at the end, as you're evaluating, how could you do better? So key elements in Gibbs reflective cycle: acknowledgement of feelings, and also separating or letting aside evaluation. So let's now briefly go through the stages, 6 stages, and the reflective cycle. So since it's a cycle, it has nowhere it starts. But number 1, we have what is called description. So under description, here you explain what happened.
Before you go further,
Okay?
in last class you also mentioned about a life cycle, whereby you talk about 3 areas. So which is which? Because
Okay, so that one is just like a general or an overview, but this is a specific one for, I would say, it's being named under this author. So they can be used interchangeably, or we check that the elements from that general overview have been embedded into these 6 stages. Yeah, but you can use...
So the question becomes, be specific and say to people,
yes, yeah. That will be specifically mentioned. Okay, so number 1, we have description. Under description, you explain what happened. On what happened, number 1, you set a scene, or you describe the scene as you're explaining. So you include what happened, you include when it occurred, With your scene, you indicate who was there, what did they do, and what was the outcome. So when you're explaining or when you're describing, just go straight to the point. Do not add in a lot of salt and paper, but be as brief as you can by explaining, number one, what happened, when it occurred, who was there, what did they do, and what was the outcome. So these are the 5 elements under description that you need to consider. Okay, so take note that we have 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we can put description here, and the other elements will move in that cycle. So just take note, even if you get, you need to have a cycle. So on, okay, that's, on far top, you put the description. So under description, you put a scene where you include what happened, when it occurred, who was there, what did they do, what was the outcome. So here you actually state exactly what happened. Not like the way I ask you to, share me your experiences of our last week's session, and people will say, we defined what reflective practice is. No, but you actually say, what is the definition? And after description, we go to feelings. So with feelings, you discuss your feelings and thoughts about the experience that you had, or about the scene that you have described. So when you're discussing feelings, basically you consider questions or issues to do. How did it feel at the time? How did you feel at that particular time as you were being involved in that experience? What did you think at that time? So feeling and thinking are 2 different things. You may have thoughts different to how you feel. Or you start feeling, then you have a different thought. So how did you feel at that time? What did you think at that time? And then what impact or what outcome or what effect did your emotions, beliefs, and values? So your beliefs, your values, how much or what role did they play in your feelings? How did you feel at that time? Number one. Consider, what did you think at that time? What impact did your emotions, beliefs, and values have in terms of your feelings? And you can as well consider, what did other people that surrounded you, what do you think were their feelings, or what did they feel? And finally, what do you think about the incident afterwards? So 5 things. What did you feel at that time? What did you think at that particular time? Impact or effects to do with your emotions, beliefs, and values. How about the people that surrounded you? What do you think they were feeling? Or what were the feelings? And finally, what do you think about the incident afterwards? So, as the same, you write exactly what happened. Do not move around when you're explaining your feelings. Number 3, evaluation. I remember last time we as well tackled on evaluation. How did things go? So when you're evaluating, basically, or when you're giving an analysis, mostly people focus on the positive side. But that's not what you're supposed to do when you're evaluating. Critical, when they say critical analysis or critical evaluation, you look at both sides of the coin. So consider the positive impacts as well as the negatives. So what was good and what was bad about that experience? And it's good mostly to start with the good or the positive. So it brings that enthusiasm. So what was good and what was bad about the experience? Yes, we may generalize that this is a good thing, this is a bad thing. But in your own experience, what went well? It could be it was a bad thing, but it was actually something that was supposed to happen. Maybe you were following protocol or you were just doing the right thing. So what went well and what did not go on well? Number one, what was good and what was a bad experience about that experience? Regardless of being good and bad, right? But in your own, I would say, consideration, what went well, right? And what did not. Under that experience, were your contributions positive or negative? So when you're evaluating, you as well consider the contributions that you made. Were they positive or were they negative? And if there were negative things or if there were bad things through that experience, do you think they were resolved, or was there any possibility that they could have been resolved? So with evaluation, you think of positive, negative, good, bad, your contributions towards the good or bad experience, and also a resolution or giving a solution to what was good and what was bad. So far we have done 3 elements: description of what happened, feelings of your reactions and the feelings themselves, and evaluation on what was good and bad. On the 3 elements, any questions? Any questions on? Okay, number 4, after evaluation, we have analysis. So analyzing, now you are making sense of what happened. You apply it in your context to have or to develop an understanding. So with analysis, it's where you make sense of what happened. You include theories or hypothetical elements to make sense or to develop an understanding. So you put up the terminology why. With analysis, why did things go well? Why did they go bad? Ever heard of Abraham's Maslow hierarchy? Okay, it has that pyramid, right? Mostly, the first line of the pyramid, is it social needs? Abraham's Maslow. Do you know Abraham Maslow? No? You're lying. You're lying. Hmm?
It's been long.
It's been long. Okay. Do you know any sociological theory or any sociological perspective that you at least remember? This has to be recent. Okay, people can discuss, can talk, can try to remind each other. I just want us to have any recent theory that you can remember. Any sociological theory or sociological perspective. Hmm? Okay. Any perspectives or theories? Feminism. Okay, what about feminism?
I just remember that the social theory.
You just know it. You don't even know what it is all about.
Am I right?
Okay, yeah, it is, but we are not so sure whether you're right because even yourself, the one who has mentioned, do not even know about it.
Yeah.
But we know, but we know it exists. Hmm? Any theories that people can remember? What?
The one that is using a book to fit
We're using what?
Okay, you was testing like when you use a dog, if
Mhm.
it's gonna come,
Mm-hmm.
it's something.
Okay, what was the scenario behind, or what is the application to that? It's about what?
It's under behaviorism.
Okay, behaviorism fear. So, what's the application socially?
Actually, they applied that once a person maybe has gained other behaviors which are bad from the society,
Mm-hmm.
because there is other theories like
Sociological perspective.
Yeah, they
Mhm.
believe that everyone is born blank and they get all their their functions from the society.
Mm-hmm.
So behaviorism theory comes in to
Mm-hmm.
say that even though they have gained those behaviors from the society, they can be formed through classical conditioning, like the use of the enforcement and punishment.
Okay. Yeah. So I was interested in their sociological perspective to say you actually it's about the system. The system is the one that determines how you make up your mind. But that's an assumption to say all things constant. But I keep giving this example to say in Malawi, can we really apply that? Should we say for someone to be, let's say, to be okay, the government has to play a role, educative system, the health, agriculture, or even families. But you find that sometimes even the parents are not there for the kids. You find that education cannot be as free as we think of. So, yeah, much as these theories give us that background, but they leave a lot of aspirations to design. So when you're making the analysis, you can as well apply that. Much as they may not be applicable in my own context, but there are other elements that we can critically look into. So, yeah, we can apply like those theories. and you justify or you ask yourself how you apply that theory to explain what happened. Okay, so why did things go well or why did things go bad? And how can the theory that you are using, any theory that you want, to explain what happened? How does your experience differ with literature? So you're talking of your feelings, or yes, how you experience or how you feel about that incident, and what does literature say? So it's about applicability. If people say, okay, human beings are born blank, it's actually the system or the attributes that make them to become what they are. That's literature. But in your understanding, how can you explain that? There's also another quote. It says some people are more equal than others. If we are to give that context, let's say we are black Malawians. If we are to give the same context, let's say to Asians, are we true? Are we justifying ourselves? Or what is the relationship? So why did things go well or bad? How can the theory explain what happened? How does the experience compare to literature? How would you apply? And what research or theories or models can help to make sense of that? So much as you are justifying your actions or you justifying yourself, but you can as well use models or theories to make a justification or to put more meat into the theories, the context that you are writing. Could I have responded in a different way without maybe the models or with the models? And what might have helped or improved in the course? So you can apply this cycle in your profession. Let's say you're giving out the counseling, or the reflective cycle can as well be applied when you're even writing your assignments or any writing, academic. So mostly this part of analysis, that's how essays are supposed to be written. I remember last time somebody says I'm not good at writing essays. So an essay, it's about application. How you understand the problem at hand or the issue that has been assigned for you. What others have said about that problem at hand. And what is your reflection? So each and every assignment, unless only if it's stated that you should not write it, so, but lecturers expect you to apply. So how you apply, you put up examples together to justify your thinking, or sometimes you become in line with other authors for different reasons. So you give reasons. That's what analysis is all about. I don't know if people do understand. So this part, that's where critically you have to to make sense of your writing. I've seen several assignments, people just copy paste on Wikipedia. Literally, amangumatula zonse kuyiga about assignment. But there has to be an analog, or you explain it as a story, right? If somebody asks you, how can I travel from here to Bwandilo? Bwandilo is there, right? Mm-hmm. So you say, ukafika bano utuluka jonji. Then you find a third road. You go straight, then you turn to Chitubuko. I mean, it doesn't make sense, right? So your ideas have to be coherent. They should make sense, or they should be speaking to each other. That's That's what essays are all about. The ideas have to speak to each other. Conclusion. So conclusions, Gibbs has suggested 2 proposed conclusions. Number 1, you conclude in a general conclusion. And number 2, you can have a specific conclusion. So generally, it's for a general situation, but a specific one, what is your personal conclusion? So when you're trying to put up a conclusion, you explain what have you learned in general and in specific. What can you do to be better? Or how can you be better? Would you have done something differently when you're writing up your conclusion? And how would you achieve that? So what skills do you need to handle that activity or incident better? So conclusion is in 2 parts. You can conclude generally or overall, or you conclude specifically. So with general, that's the whole picture, the whole overview. But specifically, you concentrate on your personal reflection. What have you learned? How could you do better? What should you have done? And what skills, what knowledge do you need to handle that better? The last part is on action plan. So an action plan, is a step that you plan or a step that you develop to do things differently or to improve things for the better. So you plan for the future, a future situation when it happens or when it occurs. How best can you go about it? It will also help you to understand or to think about how you would help yourself to act differently. Why you would want to do that? Because you would not want to make the very same mistakes that you did. So you decide or you devise a plan on how you can do better. And not just planning, but you make sure it's really feasible, it's applicable, that you can do it. Of course, as human beings, sometimes you just realize you have done something, or you have put up a change unknowingly. But when you realize about that change, then it's helpful because it reminds you of the mistake that you did, and you intend or you make a deliberate effort so that you do not repeat the mistake. Okay, let's have questions. Okay, no questions. So we'll have to have our first assignment. Of course, I'll type it. Okay, so I'll expect you to write 500 words is how many pages? 500 words? How many pages are those? 1, 2, 1, 2, 500 words. Let's have 1,000 words. About 2 pages, I think, minus the cover page and minus the references. So give me a reflection, or you're tasked to write a reflection about an incident, about anything that occurred the first week of our teaching. So, since okay, let's just be democratic. Write for any, not just this class, but for any class, what happened in the first week of the semester. So you put up a scene and you
So what's the question?
okay. Write a reflection about an incident that occurred during the first few weeks of your learning. So you're applying the Gibbs reflective model. So you write about all the 6 steps, giving examples, giving scenarios, and giving references. Who is the class rep? Okay, so the class rep, you've understood the question, right? You just... People say it's you. So please just make it, write it on the group. I will record it, so I will formalize it and send it to you guys. But write it on the group so that we don't forget. Yeah, 1,000 words. Is there anyone who is not clear on what is supposed to write? Okay. Tell me more about it. Why don't you understand? Or do you want me just to repeat?
So, madam, the reflection will be based on both courses or only this one?
Any. How you do it, I don't mind. But for it to have, for it to be rich, for it to have a lot of information, I think it would be better if you consider everything. Because if you only consider for one course, I think you can just write that for maybe 2 lines, 2 or 3 lines. But for it to really reach the 1,000 words, you can decide to say, okay, let me just talk of 2 courses, or let me talk of all the courses. Yeah, so you give that scenario. You actually have to tell me that you are discussing about all the 5 courses, all the 6 courses. What are the courses? What are the experiences? Yeah.
So, madam.
Yes. Okay. I hope so.
So what will be the mode of submitting the document?
The mode of what?
Submitting.
Yeah, you send it to my email. What? Where? Okay, what's the challenge? Your phone? Your phone?
Yeah.
That's not a problem. Otherwise, you just write it. Okay, you.
I'll send it to WhatsApp. Just me, please.
No. No. You can actually send it through somebody's.
Where was I?
What's that when I was so mad?
Also, using the iPhone.
What?
It's a okay, man, it's a phone.
Is that Tega?
See, it's every iPhone.
No, I get emails sent from iPhone.
iCloud. I forgot the password.
That's the thing. So don't say iPhone in yours, no. So the issue is about you to remember your iCloud password and you send me. If the worst comes to the worst, I mean, you can just ask her, can I use your... So you just write up, dear madam, this is my... Yeah, and you pay her for...
Why should I pay her?
Okay, so let's move on if people do not have any questions. Let's look at some of the characteristics of being a development facilitator. By the way, who is a facilitator? Or how can a social worker be a facilitator?
The one who guide and control the proceedings of any government.
Of any?
That's
Okay. Anyone? Is it the same as an MC?
yeah.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Do people agree?
No.
Okay.
Not like an MC.
Mm-hmm.
But a monitor or something.
A monitor?
Someone who looks over something.
Someone who what?
Who like looks over how the proceedings are going.
Mm-hmm.
A facilitator can be someone who would be like giving commands or maybe proceedings to this thing, but just looking at it, how it's going. Is it in the right direction?
Mm-hmm.
MC was a list or something. This time around, we're going to do we have but a facilitator
Mm-hmm.
at Oka, maybe for example, like a social worker is looking after someone. This one, don't be giving the actual forum to the change of someone. You just be looking how it's going to be changed.
But in some cases, there is a need for a facilitator to prepare a program for the function so that the members will follow that program.
So they have to put it specifically that it's like an MC. That means the facilitator is a monitor. For that, maybe can you stage it with you or rather just look on how things are
I
going.
think we're using the same terms. I think you understand it.
What do others say? There is an argument to say being an MC and a facilitator are more or less pretty the same. What do people think? Are they the same or? Yeah, let's see. What do you think? Mm-hmm.
I think it's facilitator
Can be a monitor. Okay, specifically monitoring what? And how different can it be with an MC? There is no big difference. Okay. So, okay, can a social worker be a facilitator? Okay. So I would say, yeah, they are not pretty much different, but they are now being different in the context, right? If it's a social Okay, not social work, not not professional. Okay, but MCs are also professionals.
Yeah.
Okay, not in social work professional, right? Yeah. So they actually facilitate or they are moderating the program. But with a social worker as a facilitator, you're more or less like giving out training, or you organize the activities, you have a plan. So you're more or less like a programmer or a program coordinator for that. And you organize it, you have a budget, a time plan for it, you monitor it, you actually implement it, and so on and so forth. So yeah, they are more the same, but they would only change in the context in which they are being used. So as a social worker, yes. Oh, welcome. So as a social worker, you are required to organize different people or organize individuals to achieve a common goal. So this common goal could include a community development or an advocacy. A facilitator organizes or gathers people or individuals for a purpose to achieve a common goal. A common goal could be community development or advocacy, and so on and so forth. So specifically as a social worker, what is your role in facilitating? Or what is the role of a social worker in facilitating change or facilitating a development activity? What do you think are some of the roles that social workers can play when facilitating? Any roles? Mm-hmm.
Facilitator is also special, like sides, whereby others are right or wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So, supporting their ideas,
Okay.
that would be one role that's very clear. And also, making sure that that's unity,
Mm-hmm.
cohesion.
Okay. Did we hear what he has said? You have said 4 things. You have talked of unity. You have talked not getting sides. You have talked of decision making. What is this? Okay, let's just talk of the 3. As a social worker, okay, like you have put it, you're not supposed to take sides, right? But I would say you have to mediate. Yeah? So people or different sides come together or come to an understanding. Yeah. So your role is to develop a mutual understanding. Okay. And the second one is to assist in decision making. So number 1, you assist in mutual understanding. You assist in decision making. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, So we have said assist in mediation or mutual understanding. We have talked of, let's put it as informed decision making. What other roles do facilitators in social work play?
Maybe guiding and controlling the audience as well as the participants, whereby they can at least concentrate on the subject matter.
Yeah, so you bring people together so they only concentrate on the discussion on the subject matter. Okay. What are the roles? What are
Maybe
the,
also keeping the minutes
to keep?
the minutes
Okay.
for the future leaders.
Okay. So you make sure that you keep updates of the meeting. Record updates of the meeting.
Even making sure that everyone is giving an equal opportunity
It's giving you what?
equal opportunity to everyone to share their
So there shouldn't be any bias. You as a social worker, you make sure that each and every person is given, I would say, equal chance to contribute to the proceeding. Yeah, so we can add what it's saying, giving equal chance. A facilitator could work as an enabler. So you enable or you give, that chance. You give space for every person. So just the speaker, no torch, or it also has a torch?
No, it doesn't. But then at least, the dark with some sound.
Becomes more lighter. Yeah, I understand. Okay, yeah. So grab a tip when you're in the dark and you have sound, becomes more, the light penetrates. So an enabler, that one we said for mutual agreement, you can put as a mediator. Make sure the programs or the proceedings are going on well. You can act as a coordinator or an integrator. Even putting up of the minutes, keeping the activities or the trains up to date. You're more or less like a manager because you're organizing all the activities. You as also a facilitator, you as well, when you're listening from your clients or listening from the proceedings of each and every activity, you also have to contribute. So you become like an educator in that context. And after learning the Gibbs reflective cycle, you can as well be, or you can play a role as an analyst, right? Or an evaluator. So you put up scenarios, just like how you write the assignment, you become more as analysts, right? So you analyze the activities that happened during the first weeks. You evaluate, you ask yourselves, what were your experiences, what went on well, and etc. and etc. Okay. So people should be able to explain to these big headings that we have mentioned, right? When we say an enabler, what do we mean? So you explain to say, as a facilitator, you help clients, let's say, coping with situations, coping with stress. Yeah. As a social worker, you convey or you give hope to your clients or the people that you're working with. You help the people at least to manage their feelings. we mentioned of positive and negative things. So you support their strength and try to help them work out on their weaknesses. But overall, focusing on the goal, whether it's a specific for that particular individual, you do not move away from the goal. That's what enabling is all about. As a mediator, you are there to solve arguments. And like we discussed last week, we said mostly some of the activities that happen, solutions are already there, only that people have just to dig deep to understand the cause or the root of that particular disagreement. So it is believed that there is always a solution to each and every problem that we encounter. Only that people are limited to what they think. Yeah, so you can mediate with your client, you can mediate for a bigger group or a community, you can mediate to try to work out on social differences, like what do theories say? How would you apply it into a certain scenario, let's say of your client? And how best can you work on these differences? Let's say in a Malawian context. Right? Because you cannot just be assisting, let's say, your client to say, you know, all systems being equal, you're supposed to attain education. But I mean, how much is the education? Can that client really afford? So you hear that the person maybe cannot even afford the basic needs. Yeah, so you, as a social worker, you think in those lines. So we can have different cases that social workers can work on. Issues to do with rape, issues to do with divorce, issues to do with different relationships, stress, and so on and so forth. But make sure as a mediator, as a social worker, you remain neutral. You do not judge. Hey, don't give judgment. As a social worker, you learn to remain calm and neutral at all costs, even though you know the other side of the story. So you are trained to pretend. Okay. Yeah. As a coordinator, like you plan, you bring together different parts or different components for a greater goal or for an organized activity. You advocate, you open up opportunities for your clients, you make sure they are given a wider choice of all the alternatives that they may have. Maybe you're advising a certain client on a dietary condition. Maybe you'd want them to stick to the 6 categories of food nutrients. So you keep telling them, you have to buy meat. You know the person cannot afford meat. But I mean, apart from meat, there are also other foods that are of the same content as meat. People in the village, they are told, okay, not they are told, but it's proven that, what do they call it? Yamwamba, I don't know the English word for that. They can actually cook and it's so nutritious, more than meat. Yeah, so you suggest alternatives for your clients so that, they get help on what they can afford. As a coordinator, you also offer technical assistance, technical help by directly being involved into the activities. So you are there at the planning, you are there at implementation or execution of the program or the activity, and also evaluating. Okay, let me know if people have got questions. Okay. So we have mentioned of these roles, but what should contain for a facilitator to perform those roles? What attributes can one have, or is one supposed to have?
Then communication skills.
Yes, communication skills. So attributes. Oh, okay. So we've done roles, and here we are on the characteristics or attributes. What do facilitators need to have? Communication skills, what else? What? Okay, critical thinking skills. Or critical analytic, decision making skills. What else?
Courage.
What?
Courage, confidence.
Okay, let's put it as interpersonal skills. So, problem solving skills.
Self-awareness.
Yes. By the way, you need to be self-aware, knowing that you have to be neutral in cases. Yeah, no taking sides. What else? You need to have learning skills. You know, I always tell people that learn to learn. It's very important. There are other people, they are so mean, or so, I don't know. They feel they know everything, but no. You always learn each and every day. And you as a social worker, you meet different cases, you meet same cases with different people, different contexts. So if you do not learn how you're applying your skills, then it becomes a challenge. So you will not be effective. Yeah. A social worker, you need also to be committed, have passion. Social workers in other countries, they do a lot of work that some people cannot even think of. And sometimes the stories or the scenarios that people bring to your office, it needs a mature or someone that is really trustworthy. Yeah.
I think it's also possible.
Multicultural competence, yes. So you understand the values, the beliefs behind. Yeah, that's actually how you set the scene. You learn of beliefs, you learn of values, the attitudes, the background. Some of the things, they have to do with how people have been brought up. Yeah, so you should as well be conversant with all that. Okay. Any questions? So how would you develop self-awareness as a social worker? How would you develop self-awareness as a social worker?
By having personal assessments.
Okay? Having personal assessments. How would you cultivate self-awareness?
I think in general, through reflective practice.
Reflective practice. Okay. So you apply the theories, you apply the processes to reflect yourself. Okay. Okay, let's proceed to problem solving. What is the problem? How would you define a problem?
I was about to say problem.
The problem
Mm-hmm.
is any condition that affects the non-functionality of every individual.
It's a
Any condition
any condition,
that affects the normal functioning of an individual.
normal functioning of an individual. Okay, anything that distorts normal functioning of an individual. Okay, okay. If anyone has got a different opinion, how would you define a problem? How would you define a problem? What is a problem? Yes, at the back, you have any idea of what a problem is? No? Do you have problems? Oh, really? But you don't know what they are. You don't know how you can explain them. Ah, okay. What are some of the problems that you have that you would like to share with us?
Financial problems.
So like today, how much money would you need? 2 million? 7 million? Okay, guys, let's raise 7 million for her. So we need to end her financial problem. Okay, so like he has said, any matter or a condition which is regarded unwelcome or which is harmful, and there is always a need to be dealt with, that's a problem. That's why we say all the problems have solutions, only that people are limited to think. Okay, like what's your plan how do you think you can overcome your financial problem? Have you tried to think about it? Or you, okay, yeah, tell me. Okay, yeah. You know, finance are so critical issues. She's still actually thinking about. Do you have any problem that you would like to share with us? Okay, just one. A phone?
And he destroyed my phone. I'm gonna fix it.
Okay, yeah. So make sure that the problem that you have or the problems that your clients do encounter, they are qualified as problems because there has to be a need for a solution, or they have to be solved. Okay. So problem solving is one of the roles of a social worker. Why would you want to solve problems for your clients? Number one. Okay. Okay, yeah, it's your duty. To improve their well-being. Yes? You wanted to say something?
Start functioning normal
As
the way they were before the medical.
okay. One is to bring a stability or what do we call it? Equilibrium. So someone has got a problem. That's a deviation to their normal life. So you're trying to help solve their problem so that they are in the same level as others. Which in real sense is not true. Because the moment you're solving that problem, what theory is this? Another problem also occurs. But yeah, to bring a balance or to bring stability in people's lives, to improve well-being of people, you do solve problems. Someone has said you solve problems because it is your duty, so you are obliged to solving our problems as social workers.
Enhance social justice.
Okay, to enhance social justice. Social justice, same as equity?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. What are the whys? What are the reasons?
To bring in innovations.
To bring in innovations. Yeah, as a social worker, really, you can as well be as innovative as you can.
Or empowerment.
To empower, I would say, the underprivileged or the vulnerable. Okay. Anything else that anyone would like to comment on problem solving?
I think to promote anti-oppressive practice.
To promote
Anti-oppressive practice.
Anti-oppressive practice. Okay. Yeah, trying to bring a balance so that people feel their importance in the society, feel their need in the community. Because each and every person is unique. So what are some of the techniques that you think you can use when you are solving problems? Any techniques you think? Decision making? Okay. What are the skills? Problem analysis. Okay. Problem analysis.
Allowing the client to live in their ways of how they think and solve the problems.
Okay.
Because there's some other issues, for example, when you're dealing with family problems, a lady maybe can come stating that my husband maybe is abusing me, this and that, but then I don't want to divorce him. So at that time you have to sit and understand the needs of the client. If it's not for divorce, what are other options? Why did you come here? Like what can I do for you? So those are the skills which you need to have.
Yes. So some of the tips for a social worker when you are solving problems. Number one, you clearly define the problem. What is the problem at hand? When you have a clear definition and you make sure that the definition is not only understandable to you, but you are in the same line with the client. So, as a skill or as one tactic for problem solving, clearly define the problem. Do not jump to conclusions. Like the example she has given. Giving out, okay, before even the story has been dealt with, you put up conclusions already. No. So, number one, clearly define the problem. Do not jump to conclusions. And try different approaches. Try different approaches. When problem solving, do not take it personal. Trying to relate it to your personal emotions. No. Be as professional as you can. Do not take the problems personal. And if there is a need to include other people, make sure you get the right people in the session. Get the right people. If different, I would say what? Organizations that have to be involved, or institutions like the police, health sector, social welfare, make sure you get the right people. And as a facilitator, the one coordinating or managing the client sessions, make sure that you document everything. And nowadays, it's very easy. You can just record. But make sure you ask for, sorry? Yes, you ask for permission to record. You seek for consent from your client that you are recording. I mean, you explain ethically the importance of your recording, that it's specifically for documentation. You not misuse that data or information from your clients. So seek for consent. And if you're your law Okay, if your role in the context is problem solving or not facilitating, but you're trying to understand the client, make sure that you include someone to facilitate the function or to facilitate the session. So you are not overwhelmed with the activities that you are doing. And keep up to par your problem solving skills. Not the way you solved a certain problem in 2000 and you want to bring the same, but always problems are different. Problems are unique. So you have to critically sharpen your problem solving skills. Mm-hmm.
I'm a little bit confused. From this context, what does the word techniques really mean?
Okay, like okay, what's the proper one? Okay, you have the skills, but for you to sharpen the skills, you can use, I would say, techniques. These are like your background notes for you to, okay, like to make you outstanding. You understand? You can have a skill as a communicator, right? Communication skills. So with communication, what is the message that you want to communicate, right? You want to communicate that message to what audience, right? What format are you going to use to communicate the message? That's an example of a communication skill, right? But for you to sharpen that communication skill, you need a technique. So the technique in this case would say use of simpler terms. So technically, for you to be outstanding or for you just to hit the message that you want to give, you just use a straightforward terminology for your audience to be clear or being able to understand. Okay?
Talk about this guy, call him Brandon.
Okay.
So that guy is what is a journalist. Interviews people and whatnot. Like any other journalist can do that. But then that guy has
Techniques.
that he uses that makes people like him, likes how he does his whatnot, like interviews and what like you get someone there, like he gets Mushi right there. You can get another journalist there, but then he would not, Kavinash would not ask the same questions as he would do to make them interested as he does. So that's
Like the techniques, right? I would simply say all of you can be social workers. Let's say all of you venture into your own consultancies, but you find that the other clients would prefer her more to him because of the techniques that she uses. So for you to be sharp, to know, okay, with this scenario, I think let me involve these people. Let me not say this. Let me use this strategy. That's being technical. So these are the techniques. So they are not something that you, I would say, they come as you experience. They come as you're doing your work. But the skills, I mean, these are basic skills. You're trained. You acquire the skills. You acquire the knowledge. You know what you're supposed to do. But you keep applying the techniques just to keep you on the spotlight or to keep you like up to par with what is happening. I don't know if you understand.
We can move on.
Okay. Any more questions? So we have done. We've done the reflective cycle by Gibbs. We've done the roles of a development facilitator. We've done some characteristics of a development facilitator. Done self-awareness, problem solving. Let's now consider personal values and attitudes. What is the role, what is the relationship of your, or what do you think your personal attributes would reflect you as a social worker? Personal attributes for you as a social worker. A what? Acceptance. Okay. So acceptance in this context, accepting your clients, or
Yeah, clients.
accepting your clients.
Yeah, of how you can live. For example, I can give my example.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I was dealing with this other feminism, economics, whatever, they also involved people, those gay and lesbian people.
Mm.
So it was hard for me to get, like, to speak with them. Every time when they bring in a point for sexual reproductive health rights, like they should also get involved. So I was like, why? These guys, they do like girl men, so why should we involve them? So if those are like my personal aspects, so if I put it into my work, that means I won't be basically those kind of
Yes. Okay. What? You have any? Are you listening to something? Okay, yeah, so she has given up a very good example. We have issues to do with their called key populations. Yeah, so if you are not conversant with specifically how the community of those people, how it works, what it means, honestly, you cannot understand them. So, yeah, as a social worker, you need to accept your clients. What else?
And also being able to understand your clients from their own perspectives, which is called empathy.
Which is what?
Empathy.
Empathy. Okay. Be empathetic. Put yourself in the context of your clients. And that's where judgment comes in, because if you do not judge them, then you professionally assist. You have to find the problem, what they are looking for, the type of help that they need. So you are not even judgmental, but you offer the assistance, the help that they require to get. Okay. Other values. Other values. Respect your clients. Much as you accept them, but you should as well respect them. Respect their beliefs. Respect okay, pachiwamadi ule mukutani nkupasani. You'd want to be respected as a service provider, but you need to respect your clients. Like, high example. Yeah. When you start respecting the clients, you understand them better, and you become empathetic. In the long run, no judgment. Make sure you offer empowerment. Your clients have to realize, have to know that you are a social worker because of them. Yes, you can be a social worker by title, but I mean, what service are you offering to them? So, empowerment. Personally, you have to offer participation. inclusiveness, as well as professional responsibility. So respect, empowerment, participation, inclusiveness, as well as professional responsibility.
We can also include confidentiality.
Confidentiality.
Yes.
Yeah. Where we said you have to seek for consent from your clients. Let's say you are recording or you're taking notes. So you ensure that ethically there is confidentiality. What you discuss in this room ends in that room. Not you go out to journalists. That's any other attributes?
I think genuineness, whereby you can be able to build a positive relation with your client, so that at least you can trust you.
Rapport with your clients. That's the first or the key thing, because when you miss it, then your clients are not as open as they are supposed to be. Okay, and the last part, let's talk of supervision in social work. Supervision as a social worker. Who is a supervisor? Who is a supervisor? Someone who?
Provides, who's there to provide advice or supervision?
So supervision is what can be the proper way to use? Guidance, overall, overall, say what? Overall supervisor, overall looking after. Yeah, so with a social work, supervision is specifically involved with what is called practice context. So your position, let's say as a supervisor or as a social worker or as a manager, would give you like an authority. So you're given authority over your clients, right? Yeah. So typically, as a social worker supervisor, you supervise or you look after the work that you are, or you look after the clients that you are dealing with. And the supervision in social work has 5 purposes. The main goal or the main purpose for you as a social worker being a supervisor is to provide quality service or to meet the needs of your clients. Number 1, you do that through what is called knowledge and skill development. Number 2, professional development as a social worker. Number 1, knowledge and skill development. Number 2, professional development as a social worker. Number 3, support and facilitation of self-reflection. Number 5, promotion of justice. That's number 4. Support and facilitation of self-reflection. Support and the facilitation of self-reflection. Facilitation. Promotion on social justice. So as a supervisory role, you need to have knowledge and skill development, professional development, support and facilitation of self-reflection, promotion of social justice, as well as administrative tasks. But the overall goal is to provide quality service for your clients. So as a social worker, some of the components that you need to have for your supervision, number 1, you need to do evaluation by and of all participants. So take some time to be evaluated by your clients. How did you find our service? How do you think we can do better? Something like so. You can develop like an evaluation form, or you can just ask them to write some of the things that they liked about the sessions, how you think you can improve. That's evaluation. You need to have meetings that use formal structure and format. So like that time we said, if your role is directly assisting the clients, you can decide to get a facilitator to work on your behalf so that you are not overwhelmed with the activities that you are conducting. So you need to have a formal structure and format of your meetings. You can as well have sanction and support by organizations. Wherever you need help, like from security, home affairs and Ministry of Home Affairs and Security, department, social welfare or health, environmental, wherever you need help from organizations or institutions, make sure you invite that. So sanction and support by organizations. So meetings scheduled in a respectful environment. So think of the environment that you are using and the timing. Schedule meetings at a conducive time and environment. Constructive feedback. Provide constructive feedback. Okay, so as a social worker, you need to have what we call standards. Set standards, agreed standards that we designed or that we developed for social workers. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 standards. What is a standard? What is a standard?
I think approved work or carrying out a certain or an activity.
A regulated practice. An approved or regulated practice. So let's say practice for social work. What standards do you need to have? What are the agreeable terms and conditions for you to work as a social worker? So if I give that as your assignment, that's fine, right? The what? I should repeat the definition? Really? No, I've already given an assignment. Yeah, you get to know it. I will type it and I will send it. So standard 1, social work okay, so these are standards for supervision of social work practice. Standard 1, social work supervision is grounded in the values. So you just write down, you just take down the important or the keywords: values, ethics, and principles. So you need to learn of values, ethics, and principles of social work. That's standard number 1. Values, ethics, and principles, social work. Standard number 2, recognize power and authority as a supervisor. So recognize power and authority as a supervisor at a workplace and exercise that power appropriately. So you know the limits. That you're just supervisory. It's not like you are God or kuziendeleza of other powers. No. Exercise the power and authority appropriately. as a supervisor, as a social work supervisor, develop specialized knowledge and skills. So get to know this knowledge and skills for supervision. Be knowledgeable about your field. Be knowledgeable about your field. That's standard number 4. Finally, have access to regular, consistent and structured supervision. Have access to regular, consistent and structured supervision. So you know you're not overall, but you are, okay, you can as well be supervised. So you also have other authorities that you
So I said you need to have access to what?
regular, consistent and structured supervision. So you can be supervised every week, every month. You follow the terms and conditions. Okay, so next time we meet, we'll have now to break down the standards. When we say values, ethics, what are they? What are these values? Yeah. So let's have someone volunteering to us to give a summary of what we have done today. A summary.
Ladies first.
Okay, please get the form we can, so that you can sign.
Okay. Give suggested the following stages,
Okay.
which is description, feelings, evaluation, analysis, conclusion, and action plan.
Are they 3?
6.
Okay.
Natural 6.
Okay. I had like.
Sorry. Okay, 6, which
Okay.
is description, feelings,
Mm-hmm.
evaluation,
Mm-hmm.
analysis, conclusion, and action.
Okay. Okay.
The idea of this model was to systematize reflection
Mm-hmm.
and isolate feelings. The different stages usually help to slow down our thought processes so that we don't jump into conclusion.
Okay. Okay.
So, next.
Apart from the cycle stages, what else?
We learned about how a social worker can cooperate with the clients,
Mm-hmm.
of how you can work on your personality in order to connect with the client. It's your turn. Anyway,
I think most important things of being given assignment on the question of being covered, experiencing the first week of class.
Okay. And people are excited about it, right? Yeah, let me learn more from you guys. How is it like? Some have just joined. You'll be so excited.
yeah.
Mhm.
That was boring.
Sorry?
This boy is boring.
Which one? Are you judgmental?
No.
Where is
As
that?
a social worker, I have assisted. And he broke my phone.
What theory is that? That makes him boring. It's okay. Okay. Oh, you damaged her phone?
Luna.
She's just being an ass.
Okay, yes, at the back, what have you learned today?
Skills.
Facilitator. Okay, social worker is the facilitator. Mm-hmm. Okay. What else? What have you learned?
We learned about problem solving.
Mm-hmm.
So then
Hmm?
reasons of problem solving in social justice. The reasons of problem solving is that it brings social justice, it brings innovation, and brings change to the planet.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes, already in headset. What do you remember?
Okay, the techniques that you can use for solving problems.
Mm-hmm.
There's analysis, there's also communication, there's also active listening, and and characteristics of the development facilitator,
Mm-hmm.
experience with writing and training, the person to have schools,
Mm-hmm.
and solving problems.
Ah, okay. Anyone with any comments? No? Okay. Yeah. So, we'll meet on Monday.